What's up, Hobby Maniacs? Rob Baer here today with a look at a very exciting 4-year-old model. This is the Leviathan Dreadnought. That's you can play it in 40K and Horus Heresy. It's the big boy. It's what we saw. I can't even remember. I guess we saw it back in November, I want to say, at the 40K Open. I don't even know all these names. It's so new. It's basically their version of Games Day over there. And then we've got, of course, some of the weapons for it: the Flux Bombard, and then the Dreadnought Storm Cannon. So it's basically the shooty version of the Leviathan. It's a great looking kit, and we're going to take a closer look at it. But before we get to all that, I would like to invite you to help support these videos, help keep them ad-free in 2016. Click on the Patreon link up in the top left corner there. Make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel. Check out our blog, SpikeyBitsBlog.com, and head on over to thelongwar.net. That's the home of the battle reports for exclusive content, early access videos, and more. Become a veteran of the Long War today. So like I was saying, this is a really cool, innovative kit. I think it price points out for about $150 US, which, you know, for some people that's kind of expensive for a Dreadnought. But in game, it's really exciting. Playing games at Horus Heresy is kind of like playing 3rd edition 40K in my opinion. Like, a lot of stuff still actually works. Like, Dreadnoughts actually work. You know, I was really shocked. I was like, wow, this Contemptor is actually staying alive. Okay. I'm okay with that. Because there just isn't the same kind of stuff in Horus Heresy that there is in 40K today. So, you know, if you're a veteran and you're kind of like, hey, I don't really like the way 40K is going, I definitely invite you to check out 30K because it's more of that old school kind of style, that 3rd edition, that 4th edition kind of flair, before things definitely started changing a lot from 5th to 6th and then subsequently to 7th edition. So here's the Dreadnought Leviathan body. Now, of course, they got all this, you know, everything comes in a box. You know, it's really awesome how they're packaging things. They got all the kit itself in bubble wrap. You know, now, I'm not sure this box wouldn't get crushed because, I mean, this is just a small bubble wrap thing in this box here, but they're definitely making some strides towards protecting their product as it, you know, it gets out to consumers, which is really cool. And also, you know, maybe it's something that can be stocked on the shelf at some future point. I don't know. I'm just speculating. I'm just saying they're definitely going in this direction, and it's, you know, I don't know why they don't tell us things, so we just have to assume. And sometimes, well, you know what assuming does. So here's the components themselves, which we're going to get to. A very basic setup. I like how it goes together. I like the girth of it. I always giggle when I say girth. But what I don't like is it's got this little kind of leg, and he's kind of just doing this like leg kind of walk, like he's pushing off. And what that does is they don't give you extra feet like they kind of do with the Contemptor, the old resin one that isn't the plastic one that comes in the Betrayal for Calth. They would give you extra feet so you could like kind of make it standing still or kind of make it walking. With this guy, it's only posed one way, kind of like the Imperial Knight, which, I mean, if you're going to get a bunch of these, you know you're going to have to do some work to convert it, otherwise they're kind of going to look the same. But again, price point of $150 US, you might not be buying a bunch of these things. So, I don't know, take it for what it's worth. It was just something I noticed. I was like, I wonder why they did that. I mean, for 150 bucks, I feel like I should get an extra set of legs, guys. It's $150. Come on, throw me a bone. That being said, there's a lot of different components that do come in here. You got the secondary weapons right here, where you can get, you know, the Volkite calivers, excuse me, or the heavy flamers up in the front, kind of similar to the Duridio in and of itself. Which consequently now, because of Blood Angels getting their special, war right for their Legion coming out in Book 6. Anything that takes a heavy flamer can take an assault cannon for the same price cost. So theoretically, I think you could have a Blood Angels Duridio Dreadnought with the big guns on the side and then assault cannons in the secondary weapons in the center, kind of like this guy here. I suppose you could do it for this guy too if you took him Blood Angels chapter. You just have to find the bits and convert it up. But it's a thing. Blood Angels get assault cannons now, along with the Imperial Fists themselves. So that's pretty neat. And then gives you all the components, gives you all this color-coded setup of how to put it together, you know, left and right, front and backs, things like that. The optional weapons, the legs. It looks like a very simple build. And then they give you some advice here to get these shims out of the way. But the shims help fill the cavities with the resin depending on how they do it. And then last but not least, you got the Phosphexx bomb launcher in the top, which is optional as well. And you of course could magnetize that. So let's take a look at the parts themselves. Here's the little baggie. Boom, comes in a nice little baggie. It's It's a larger base. It's not the typical 60 mil base. It looks to be about a 75 mil base right there, if I had to guess. And then, of course, you got all the juicy parts. Now, something that concerned me about this, and I don't know what the link is with why China does what they do with their recast, why Forge World does what they do. If Forge World, if they cast all this stuff in Forge World, they ship it over, or excuse me, in China, and they ship it over to Forge World, and the Forge World packages it, I don't know if they actually make this stuff in England anymore. I don't know. I know that there was a problem in 2007, 2008 with Apocalypse. They couldn't keep up with demand. They had to look at new ways of doing things. Shortly thereafter, a couple of years, we started seeing the recasts on the market. So, and I know in China, if you bring machinery and you bring tools and you bring molds into the country, you cannot leave with them. So that being said, I don't know. I don't have all the info. I can just throw the info I do have out there so other people can come along and either take it and add to it or take it and run with it. Whatever. Either way, this material here is obviously from Forge World, but it's a little dark. It's a little dark. It's a little, and remember they tint their their resin with a two-part. It's like a color cast system. So I don't know. Maybe it's just a bad batch. Maybe they're just spinning it up because you know they're getting their initial batch out. I don't know. But the resin is a little bit dark, and I did notice it even on the secondary weapons themselves. So that being said, I don't know what it means, but I just wanted to throw it out there. So there's your exhaust stacks right there, which are really really great, really detailed looking. Two different parts of your legs, your feet right there. Here's your two different foot pads, and these things are huge. I mean, these things are bigger. That's almost a 40 mil base size right there just for the feet itself. And then you've got the groin area right here where the legs basically attach to. And then the legs are really cool because you got this kind of well, here's the, where is it? Well, here they are. So you got these like kind of two-part kind of things that go in here so you can pivot them at the joint. And then there's the knee pads themselves, which go on there, and they can be positioned as well, kind of depending on how you do it. So there's all the feet assembly and the legs themselves, and here's one of the arms. And the arms are very simple. We just saw the assembly there, and this is really cool too. Like I like how they kind of made it so it kind of goes together. Like with, okay, so you've got this, and this is the top, and there's those shims that you got to get rid of. So you got your top right here, right? And this locks into, where is it? This piece right here. So you've got, basically it makes this kind of like assembly, right? Where you got all these like cool looking pistons and things. This goes over the top of it. And then you've got all your pieces in the back, which kind of like this starts locking together to form your front, right? And then you've got your, then you got your smokestacks and things that go on the back. So it's got this really neat kind of, a little bit innovative assembly that we haven't seen before. And then on the bottom of all that is where your groin plate goes and you attach your feet to, right? So it's all very well detailed. I mean, you got your two secondary weapons that we talked about, the heavy flamer and the Volkite, and then your left and right pieces here for your arms, your knee pads, and then the Phosphex launcher that goes right on top. And then this is your top armor plate and some of the back pieces where it's you know, all the power supplies and things like that. So that's the basic kit itself, right? And it's, I mean, it's a bigger kit. It's $150 US. Do I think it's overpriced? It might be a tad overpriced, to be quite honest, for what it does in game and just in general. So there's all those pieces, and we're going to stack that back up and throw it in this bag. Also, another question I had for folks on here was, now that we're doing the whole Patreon thing, and this isn't like, you know, a plug or anything, I just wanted to put it out there that this is stuff that is going to go out to you guys. Like, I'm going to ship it out to you guys as part of your swag for the people that support us. But what I was wondering, if you really do get a lot out of these videos, things like this, I would like to put together and do a tutorial on. If you were a supporter and you got something in the mail, like say, and it's not going to be all put together either. Like I might magnetize it. I might do something like that. I want to do a tutorial. I want to put it together and do a tutorial. Would that be something, if it showed up in the mail to you, that you would be, you know, with it being already put together, ready to paint, would that be something that you would be upset about? Just a question. I just wanted to throw it out there and see what folks thought. So here's one of the weapons here. This is the Gravflux Bombard arm, and this one is actually really cool. It's not available in the 40K version of the rules, but in the 30K version of the rules, it's an 18-inch weapon. It's a large blast 5, no cover saves, pinning, Graviton collapse, Torsion crusher, right? So the Graviton collapse is really cool. Instead of rolling to wound normally with this weapon, any model caught in its blast must instead Roll equal to or under its strength value on 2d6 or suffer a wound. Against targets of an armor value, roll 3d6 for armor pen instead. After the Graviton pulse weapons be fired, leave the blast marker in place. This now counts as both difficult and dangerous terrain for the next turn, thanks to the Graviton Flux. So it's a really cool looking, let's zoom in on this a little bit. Woo, I'm still getting used to the camera. It's a really cool looking bed. It's got like this kind of Gatling, like literally like bombard kind of thing. I would imagine it fired something like I don't know, some of those Transformer guns from like the movies where they're just like boo, 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 and it just kind of like rotates. And then here's the arm piece that locks it into the top, and then some of the extra swivel pieces here, and some of the little plate grates that go across the top there. So it's an optional weapon. There's a bunch of different weapon options for the Leviathan itself, and there's more coming out that we saw at the Heresy Weekender itself. And then the Titan Leviathan Storm Cannon, which is its main shooting armament here, kind of looks like, you know, some autocannons, and it's got this huge ass ammo feed that's just like straight righteous. And then there's that, and here's the pivot and some of the armor plate pieces that cover it up. It goes together. It's a two-part left and right kind of assembly, super easy. And then you put those armor plates over it, and then this kind of links to the back and goes on the backpack. The back, there's actually a place for the weapon to slot in right here on the body itself. Let's see if we can get a good shot of it. I can't. Well, here you can kind of get an idea. So it goes right underneath there on the Leviathan body. It's very similar to the Duridio, which has one of these on each side of it, each side of its arm. So that particular weapon, now it is, it's the Storm Cannon. It's 24-inch, strength 7, AP3, heavy 6 Sunder. So it's an autocannon on crack, basically. And Sunder is where you can reroll the armor pen results, and that is portable over to the 40k rules as well. So two different versions of the rules. I was actually not aware that it had 40k versions of the rules. Now, there is an interesting, they're both, the 40k version is 285 points, the 30k version is 270. It's got lots of special rules. We don't have time to go over all of that today, but it's a free download from Forge World right now. We are hearing that there will be an Imperial Armor 14 this summer, the book that'll come out that'll comprise basically good guys, Imperium versus Xenos, Tau, so they can get all those Imperial Knights and some of the Titans, the bigger Titans out and have a more concise rule set. And on the Tau side, there's actually a lot of Tau stuff that doesn't have rules up until this point. So that would be cool to see, like the Supremacy Armor, for one. That's a big one, right? So all that stuff's coming out soon, and it'll be really cool to see all of that in a new Imperial Armor book, and I'm sure we'll see the Leviathan's rules for 40k. And you know, it's one of those kits that you just might see more and more rules for as we go on. So that's it for this one, guys. Thanks for watching my video unboxing review of the new Leviathan Dreadnought from Forge World.
Deleted scenes, bonus content, and all the interviews and post-game wrap-up videos can be located in the Hall of Veterans on thelongwar.net. Visit thelongwar.net today and try a week completely free with no strings attached. That's not all. Thelongwar.net is also your hobby resource for exclusive early access with an ad-free experience to all your favorite videos. Members of the Hall of Veterans gain early exclusive access to multiple hobby videos.